Testing, testing. All right, guys. So, in order to demo my mega mass e-commerce generator automator product, I'm going to start at the top, and everyone who uses this product is going to need a host server to host their website. Now, I personally use Hostinger. I am not sponsored. I pay for every account. I have at least 6 accounts. I've been through so many host servers over the years: SiteGround, Bluehost, GoDaddy, Green Geeks, yeah, HostGator. Anyway, so many, and they tend to get slower and poorer over time, the service quality. And obviously, probably most of you know that after an initial term, like 1 years or 2 years or even 3 years, they will substantially raise the rate, the price. So that's obviously not nice, or yeah, it's not pleasant. And so I have recently chosen Hostinger for all of my websites, and it's because it is incredibly good quality, extremely modern. The interface is very, very functional and easy, relatively easy to understand. There is live support. You can get support. Their AI support is also good, but mostly the price and the speed. I've been using them for about 5 years now, and the speed hasn't gone down. In fact, it's gotten better. And so, yeah, anything can change. Now, they do still charge a substantial premium when your package or your subscription renews, which of course is a big problem. And so I personally have overcome that by simply, when my previous subscription is about to expire, I just go and buy a new one. And so that way I get the cheapest priced, and there's always a 10% coupon on the web somewhere that is valid and that you can use and get an additional 10% off. And then once you buy the new plan at the cheaper price, then you can actually migrate your site on the previous subscription for free and automatically, I believe. And I've also taught you in the past how to do that manually. Anyway, it's not hard now. It used to be a big thing, a big deal. It was quite scary back in the day, but now it's absolutely hardly a second thought. Might be just a small but slightly tedious process transferring the files. It'll take 15, 20 minutes, and the whole thing will be done and propagated probably within an hour or two. So yeah, with that, now, guys, I have to demo my WordPress plugin. I have created a WordPress plugin that is a bridge for AI to operate the WordPress cadence theme. I've been using WordPress for some years now. I absolutely love it. It's the most powerful there is, the most widely used. It's free. You can get everything on it that you would ever want for free. And there's just no reason to lock yourself into Shopify, Wix, or Squarespace, or anything else if and when you can just use WordPress. The learning curve is not low enough in the Shopify, Wix, and Squarespace side to warrant not using WordPress for fear of not wanting to learn something so complex. WordPress is actually very simple, and what you need from it is actually quite small or relatively limited. And while it may be overwhelming at the beginning initially, it's actually really fun and really empowering. And you just need, I don't know, 10 hours. I could teach you in 10 hours. And if you just maintain a understanding of the framework and the structure of how it lays out and you know, what all the basic interfaces functions are, yeah, it's actually well worth it for you or your friends or your family or your children to learn it. It just, while, yeah, we don't know the status of these kind of things going forward into the future with AI becoming so powerful so quickly and developing so rapidly. Yeah, but WordPress is likely to stay here with us and quite tidy to use, convenient to use for some time. The overwhelming issue is I can have uh, AI code up a website in seconds and it will be gorgeous. But if you want to change it, it becomes quite tedious. You actually have to generally re redraft the entire page. You It's very difficult to edit on a small per point basis. So that's what using WordPress gives us the structure for making change and editing on our own. Yeah, my goal is to keep this as simple as possible, and I don't want you learning anything too difficult, any code. I don't think that it's necessary, and you don't have to memorize things. So I'm going to try to make this process as easy as possible and as convenient as possible. And so today, in order to demonstrate my WordPress plugin that helps you build a WordPress website based on the Cadence theme very quickly and easily, just going through a few steps, which I will document, and then some interaction with the AI should be able to get you a functioning WordPress site and POD merch shop and small business brand, as it were, in just a very short time, just a few steps. So that's what we're going to try and document today. We're going to start by purchasing our host server. So I have, like I mentioned, 6 or 7 host servers. And in order to keep them both independent, organized, and tidy, and also running optimally, I will purchase a new host for the purposes of generating this tutorial and all of the content that you're about to see when I build out these stores and use my products are all going to be put on this server. With that, let's begin. I am actually here in Mega Management's admin panel, and this is our Google Workspace account for this business. And I'm going to go ahead and come into Hostinger, and I'm going to start an account here and purchase the hosting. There are a number of things you can look at, and these are all individual topics that could be their own dedicated video. But for our purposes, we will either be using the web hosting, the cloud hosting, and the web hosting is the cheapest one, and it's right here. You can even get the $2.99. It's no problem. You can create up to 3 websites. This server is actually quite fast for one website. I'm generally urging people to go ahead and do the one that's $1 more because it's quite low cost, and there are substantial benefits to this, like getting the free CDN. Anyway, but for this instance, for my case, I'm going to migrate an existing website called taiwanmerch.co, and that's going to be next week. And then in addition to that, I'm going to install at least 2 new brands, if not more, on this server. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase the cloud startup. And the reason why this is quite a bit better is that it has its own dedicated RAM, and you can get some additional traffic support if your website becomes well trafficked. So this will give you an extra bit of bandwidth and RAM memory so that you can accommodate traffic when it comes. In addition to that, the 2 million innodes is something that's useful when you are having a website that is in multiple languages. So at least one of mine will be. So I'm just going to go for this. So I'm going to choose this plan. So once again, if you're following this website, you can go with the cheapest starter plan at $299. I personally recommend that you go with the $399, the business level subscription, and that will be completely sufficient for you. So I'm going to actually, another thing that's very interesting is that for the cloud server, they offer 48 months. 48 months at this price is really quite low. If we go into this one, just take a step back and go into the business. See, they will also offer 48 months, which is quite this. If once you get another 10% off this price, you're looking at very low price for 4 years. It's so worth it, actually. It's actually even surprising. So that's what I'm going to do over here. I'm going to go ahead and go for 48 months. And actually, yep, they'll give you a free domain. I don't need one. Okay, I'm going to use my hey at mega.management identity to purchase this. Oh, all right. So as I mentioned, there's always a coupon code on the internet. So let's go get it. I'm going to just go Google literally coupon code Hostinger. And look, they offer some themselves, but that's not going to help. Let's go for this one, Tech Radar, and get the code. Yeah, I think any of these will work, honestly. Trust 10 code. Let's see. So I'll come back here and I'll put that in there. And look at that, an extra 10% off. So now it's only $345 for 4 years. And it's the upgraded cloud version. So yeah, quite a deal. So I'm going to go ahead and submit the payment. All right, guys. So with that, success. All right. So we may just do a couple things here if we can to add to the instruction. So I'm just doing this for myself. And so we'll just go through these. We could skip this actually. I'm going to create a website that's right. And I could do this as well as I'm expecting to migrate one, but we'll make that part of a future lesson or a tutorial. So I'm going to create a website. So these so far just easy stuffs and WordPress next. And so this is the first part that you're going to need to write this down. This is quite important. So I'm using a password save, and for your use, I recommend downloading this Bitwarden. It's free and it's very good. Best password manager for business enterprise. there is a free tier on this, and it's a quite a good practice to manage all of your passwords in one place. And for me, I actually host the database of passwords in the cloud so I can access it on my phone if I'm out in out traveling or at the office or anywhere else outside where I need access to my host server or my emails or any of my personal accounts. I can quickly access them even on my phone. So it really can be a lifesaver when you're in a pinch. But I use this one called Password Safe, which you can also download, and it's free. And as I said, I put the encrypted software, I put the encrypted password safe in the cloud so I can access it by my phone, but it's right here. And so I am going to actually just add an entry, and it's going to be the mega.management. So this is my first, my hostinger password is my Google password, is my Google Mail. But now this is a WordPress site. This is a WordPress site. And so what it's going to be actually, this one, we're going to start with cutemerch.love is what this is going to be, is the site it's going to be. So it's going to be WordPress site admin credentials. And it's on the mega.management host. All right. So the username is actually my email. Okay. And then we'll just hop back over here to this one, and it's given me this admin password. I'll definitely change it later, but you want to save this thing and you want to keep it in this more complex pattern. In fact, we can make it stronger later. The stronger your password, the better. You don't want to remember it. You want to use your password safe to remember it. So I'll change this, of course, to protect my own website. But yeah, you need to keep it like this and you want to remember it. This is critical. You don't want to be using your husband or wife's birthday or your child's birthday or your dog's name. You don't want to be doing that. So I'm going to save that right now. So I just entered my password and saved it. So I can come back to this anytime I want. So it's in my password safe. And then I'm going to press next. Now it's going to ask me which domain name I want to link to this host to make this website. So I'm going to put cutemerch.love. Okay. It says, do you own it? And I do. Okay, so here's another question. I'm actually in Asia. So if I were focusing on Asian customers or Asian visitors or expecting traffic from Asian countries, I would keep it here in Indonesia or maybe go to Singapore or Malaysia or India. But no, I am actually going to be focusing on US based customers. So I want one of these guys. And I'm just probably going to go for the East Coast of the United States. So I'll just go to North Carolina here. So this will just take a couple minutes here. Alrighty. Okay, so let's just bang out the last few steps of this and complete this section. For here, you will create pre-built websites and themes. And then let's go back. Actually, yeah, we go to WordPress. Yeah, actually, that's right. Here, let's go see. Actually, let's see if we can do that one more way. Ah, yes. Okay, go into WordPress and then here you are right there. So we're at the next step now. So you don't want to install any theme just there. You want to go straight to WordPress or exit, and then you'll come directly to your admin panel here. As you can see, there's a few things left. Domain is not working. And so we'll fix that in the next one. But as you can see, this was a very quick process and quite simple and straightforward. So we can actually click on the WP admin here. And then you can see that it will come right here to the WordPress backend. So if we click on the WP admin button here, you can see that we already have a WordPress website, and it's been given a temporary domain. Right in this case, it's called Light Pink Alligator, and our next step will be to connect the domain to the host by changing the name servers in the DNS settings. You can see this is what your website looks like at the moment, and that was it. So it was just a few steps. You can use the business hosting. It's excellent. In my case, I went with the cloud hosting, and it was still quite cheap, especially after the additional 10% discount we got there. And then I came right in and I went into a kind of flow or sequence, a setup wizard, and I chose my server location, which I chose in the United States. And then I actually set up a WordPress admin login credential for this website. And I saved those credentials in my password safe. And then once that process is over, we go straight to WordPress and exit that startup wizard, and you'll be in your Hostinger host admin panel here. And the next order of business will be to connect the URL with this host server by changing the servers in the domain name settings in your wherever your URL was purchased. In my case, my URL was purchased at Namecheap, but you might purchase at GoDaddy. You can even use a free URL right here in Hostinger. So the first year is included with the price. Just a moment ago, we skipped that portion, or if you know what your URL is going to be and you haven't purchased it yet, you can just get it included free for 1 year in the purchase price of your hosting or host server. So that's a pretty good deal. In any case, we will follow up with our next order of business, and that will be to connect the domain with the host server. Okay, guys, so that's it for now. I'm signing out and I'll be right back.